research on all 5 versions, and I'm not going to lie to you, I haven't read all 2,700 pages, but I've listened to all the debate, researched it, scanned through it. This is the worst bill of the 5. Some would say, well, wait, it's a better bill. It doesn't have a public option. If you're going to have socialism and steal from one group, you might as well actually give the money to somebody. No, the top insurance companies, not the little ones, the top ones, and it's in Bloomberg today, their stock's going up. They're set to make massive profits because the government's giving them liability protection. It lets them lower the standard of everybody's care, just like in England and Europe. We know how this works. And it gives the illegal aliens the health care. It will further destroy the economy. I'm going to go over all of it today. But Dennis Kucinich was right a few months ago when he said this is an insurance company bailout. So was Howard Dean, but they rolled over. Now, I was against their plan as well, but at least they were honest about this plan being a scam. Now, I'm going to go to your calls. I want to hear from you, but I also want to hear your solutions. I believe it's the states, not just the attorney general suing, but the states passing laws nullifying this. This is completely illegal, unconstitutional. The way they got the votes for the bill is illegal. This is a criminal fraud. We should have grand juries start criminal investigations. As Ron Paul has said, the evidence is there, and this will bankrupt our country. Cap and trade will bankrupt it. The Senate won't pass it, so Obama says he's going to implement it through the EPA. But I'm going to give each caller about a minute. Brian in Canada said he had 5 points he wanted to make. Make them, Brian.
Okay, I started a group on Facebook on Friday called Forcing Obama Out of Office for Not Ending Abortion. And the 5 points that I want to go through are 60% of Americans are already opposed to abortion. The second point is that an unborn baby is a 100% living human being, demonstrating having living systems like necessary for life, including DNA in the blood that's different than that of the mother. And the third point is that Title 18.1, Chapter 52, Section 1111 of the United States Criminal Code says that murder is the unlawful killing of a human being, and that which would include an unborn baby. The next point is that there have been approximately 3,000 murders of unborn babies committed every day on the watch of Mr. Barack Obama, and he has exercised nothing of his executive powers at his disposal, acting as President of the United States to end those atrocities. And whereas the Constitution of the United States, this is the fifth point, the Constitution says that the Congress has the ability, anytime they can pass a law that says that the President is no longer the President, and we're going to replace him with somebody else that they deem fit.
All right, Brian, I appreciate your call. I'm going to get into the abortion issue. Obama and his so-called executive order, the guy lies about everything. An executive order doesn't trump congressional law. And as Ron Paul said on Fox yesterday, in fact, I want to cue that up for later in the hour. I want to play a clip of it. We're already funding abortions. They send federal money down, and the hospitals use it for however they want. Or they'll take their abortion money and put it over here and then use the federal money to pay for other programs, but still essentially paying for the abortion. And that's why all the major congressional groups against abortion and all the Catholic bishops and the Protestant groups, all of them have looked at it. This is funding abortion. It's making you pay for abortion. And yes, abortion is one of the biggest hoaxes in history. 50 million dead people, more since Roe v. Wade 37 years ago. 51% of blacks are never born. They kill more than half the black people in this country. But you hear all the fake liberal black leaders never talking about that. Half the black people in this country haven't been born in the last 37 years. I mean, this is outrageous. And to make people pay for this and then try some maneuver where they say an executive order won't let the federal funds go, all the scholars, even on both sides, say that's a fraud. The pro-abortion groups have said, psst, don't worry, guys. It's a scam. We're still going to get our death money. Let's talk to Don in Oklahoma. Go ahead, Don.
Thank you, Alex, for having me on. I was just going to ask you, is right now the time for a constitutional convention?
Here's the problem with the con. The states, if you've got a majority of states to go for a new amendment, they can pass whatever they want during the constitutional convention. And we've seen a lot of globalists trying to push for one, so it's very dangerous. What we need to do is take control of the states, have them nullify this unconstitutional law. They're claiming the Commerce Clause, that the government, the federal government, can make you buy something from a private corporation. They never had a federal law that you've got to buy car insurance. They did that at the state level. And that's still unconstitutional, but not as openly unconstitutional as the federal government. Now they can say, you know, you've got to buy an electric car from GM to prop it up. Now they can say, Obama's pushing for national service, not just a draft, but people are in denial about this. I have the video clips of his chief of staff on C-SPAN saying all Americans will serve in national service. And once they've bankrupted America, they're going to use that crisis to say we've all got to get together in the Depression. You know, your kids have got to work for the government. The cybersecurity bill says they're going to take high school kids and make them work for the federal government spying on people. But no, I'm scared of a con. What do you think, Don?
Oh, I don't know. That's why I was asking you. I had...
Any other points?
No.
Well, I appreciate your call, Don. Very good question. Let's talk to Matt in the United Kingdom. Go ahead, Matt.
Hi, Alex, and welcome to Eugenics Britain. Listen to you and James there. I've got two questions, actually. I reckon the Britain NHS system is very much going to get like yours in America. If you can't pay for medical care, then obviously it's the end game, and it's the eugenics thing. And also in the UK, what they're doing now, Alex, is they're handing out leaflets saying we are going to pass your medical details and exchange them between different doctors and the hospital services to obviously think if you're obese or you drink alcohol. Again, another eugenics program. What's your take on that?
It's the nanny state where they tax beer, salt, beef. They track every facet of your lives. And as you know, you live in England. It's been in the news. Some people will rot for a month and die in their beds. Look at the one area in the U.S. where the government ran health care, and it's the worst health care in the nation, the VA hospitals. And the more money they throw at it, the VA hospital on average gets more money per patient than any other, even private group, but they give the worst care because it's all going to bureaucracy and to the parasites in government.
Yeah, I mean, also what people are doing now, we've got a thing, a private medical care thing called Bupa. I don't know if you've heard about it. And basically obviously the rich and aristocracy are obviously going to Bupa because obviously, the NHS is obviously faltering and falling.
Absolutely. They always create a two-tier system where the elite can still get their health care. Great points from the UK, Matt. Damon in South Carolina, you're on the air.
Hey, calling from South Carolina. I don't want to sound like doom and gloom, but I'm really concerned because we had Mark Sanford, love him or hate him, try and refuse to take the stimulus money, and you had all the bulk of the Congress, of the state Congress in South Carolina, basically put him up before the Supreme Court and made him take the money. So
take Elliot Spitzer. He's not perfect as the governor of New York, but he exposed the banker bailout as a fraud, and they were surveilling him and knew he was visiting hookers and selectively busted him. Look at your governor. I mean, I'm not saying it's good to cheat on his wife, but compared to all the other things, Barney Frank can have underage call boys in his house, and that's okay because he's a globalist. But then your governor goes out and cheats on his wife, and it's as if he's Satan.
Exactly, and I think what you're going to find is that no matter any state that has the guts to stand up to Obama and his brown shirts right now, they're just going to go down. They'll cut their funding. They won't. They'll do whatever they have to do.
That's why we have the states and the legislatures. They can't get everybody in the legislature, and when the people are behind them, that's why they nullify and start keeping their money. This is our money. The federal government has made us dependent because the federal government is run by offshore corporations. That's what we've got to make the Republicans talk about. This isn't a bunch of communists. Oh, it's communists at the ground level to get control of us. This is the biggest, most wealthy interest that want monopolies. Anything else?
One more thing. I think the ultimate solution here, and we haven't heard much from them, is the doctors of this country. Either they're all getting something out of this deal,
strike.
Or if they don't all go on strike and just say, you know what, we're not going to take your government plan. All right, we didn't want to help people.
Well, that's already happening. You've got Walgreens and many of its chain stores saying we're not going to accept April 16th and past that. Seattle Post Intelligencer or Seattle Times, reported that last Friday because the compensation isn't enough to even pay for it, and so a lot of doctors are just retiring early. But the system doesn't care. They don't care if they put naked body scanners in and you don't fly. They don't want you flying. The big banks issue the currency and credit. They want to shut down the economy. I appreciate your call. Let's go ahead and talk to Kenneth in New Mexico. Kenneth, you're on the air.
You got me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, well, they did it, and here we are, and I don't know what we're going to do at this point. We can scream and yell and raise all the cane we want. They've done it.
And they've got a provision where it'll take 60% of the House or more and 60 of the 100 senators to repeal this stinking thing.
I don't know how in the world we're ever going to do that. I mean, we're back to a left-right thing. This isn't a left-right deal. No matter if we fire them all and put all new ones in there, how much do you think they're giving each one of them? Like Kucinich, you think he got $1 billion, $500 million?
No, Kucinich, his wife is definitely wearing the pants, and I would imagine he was told you don't have a political future if you don't do this.